Now see here, common knowledge and logic would be to install this 2x6 from here over and then put the bottom one in just like how it is. Okay, this is just metal flashing, and so I don't want to attach that to that or anything for right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the bottom one first. That way I'll measure it, cut it tight to there, and then I'll be able to screw it up to that. Okay, and that'll hold that until I get ready for the next one and put that in. All right. Now see, I'm probably going to have the same issue. When I put that 2x6 up, I want it flush, right up tight to there, but I can't get it tight because see, here's all the staples from the stucco on the other side, and I cut them off as tight as I could, and I'm not going to do anything more to that. All right, I'm just going to hold the 2x6 up there, and then if it sticks out beyond this edge, which it probably will, I'll see how far I have to do it. Then I'm going to have to take the 2x6 and I'm going to have to rip the whole thing all the way across, you know, so it's flush with this edge. Yep. Working with existing conditions, I've got to make this right because I don't want that to stick out, because then it's not going to allow me to get the ledger support for the floor. I want that to be nice and flush with all of this. Okay. Now I've got to rip off 3/8 of an inch on here, and I could get a straight edge, but I don't have a straight edge. I could use a long 2x4, or I could just use my pencil. And I'm going to hold it right on there, and I'm going to put my finger right on the wood, behind the wood. Let's see if I can do this. I usually do it without gloves. I'm going to hold my finger. I'm just going to let it run on there, right there. I'm not going to let go where that is. Look at that. I had a mark down at both ends, and I've lined it up. There you go. Okay, I guess you wanted to hear me make some noise. I started cutting this and I thought, maybe you want to see that, how this works. I've just got some blocks under here, and I'm trying not to go through the blocks. If I had an older block, I could run that over there, but I'm just on the outside of it. Go. Ooh, that is straight. Straight as an arrow. Now I can put it up. I even put liquid nails, my construction adhesive, in circles underneath this, pre-drilled this, using screws. There's no way I'm going to use nails and start beating everything up and loosening things up. This is 17 years old wood, and there's stucco on the outside of there. I don't want any of that to crack. And this is that impact drill. It works so great. I've actually got the screws pushed up just a little bit further, which is perfect. I've already got that in. Man, that's nice. Okay, see? Now, when that liquid nails dries, it's gonna be so tight. Plus those screws, I could have just used the screws. Yeah, probably. But because I'm all into this, and I've got my liquid nails here, and I've got everything else rip-raring to go, I thought I might as well just put some circles of liquid nails up in there. And you remember why I put the circles. Put a circle, a thick bead, circle and a circle, and as that's drying, the gas in there helps suck that and bond it right together. So, you know, feasibly, a month from now, if I wanted to take these screws out, this thing would hold up there with that liquid nails. If you wanted to beat it out, it would actually rip the wood. I've actually tested it before. Okay? Okay, so now I got that piece up there. I can go ahead and measure and cut my next piece. And I didn't cut this perfectly square because I was cutting right to where this was initially for the dry rot. So I had to measure, you know, from the plywood on the back side, from the inside corner and the outside corner. This was actually cut not square, but at an angle to fit it in there. So now I'm gonna measure this one the same way and get ready to install that next. Now here's a tip for you. I'm going to cut it out of this one block, and I need 16 3/4. And on the end, I use this as a temporary before. I've got screw holes. There's a check mark in here. This was cut at an angle for that last piece. And so if I cut that off over there, I still got enough length to make my cut. And in fact, I'll go this way. I cut this square. Let's get my square on there. 16 3/4. See, it's going to be right in here. I'll cut this crack off, these screw holes. The knot's not in my way. not in my way. Because see, if I would have cut over here and then 16, this knot would have been in my way. I don't like usually cutting something towards the end of a knot or something, especially if you're nailing it or something. In my case, I'm screwing it, but either way, I'm going to cut this end off, then I'm going to measure, and I've got plenty of room to utilize that block properly. Now I got that block up in there. I'm pushing it as tight as the wood will allow me because I'm still hitting up there. And I don't have to measure this one, do I? I can just hold that up there, take my pencil, scribe it like that, and then pull this out and cut it right along that line. Now you might be wondering, hey Joe, how come you didn't rip this 2x6 here all the way down to the ground? Well, this is underneath the deck. This doesn't really matter. Okay, I got it pushed up as close as I could up against here. It's hitting staples that I broke off, that I cut off, and it's got a slight bow in this thing. And on this 2x6, I was only concerned about the rail. This one happened to go in nice. This one here, it's pretty flush. Okay, but on the top, of course, I've got to get the top all nice. See how nice and even this is now because I ripped off this first piece. Now I'm going to rip off this next one just like that. Now see, this line's not straight, is it? See, it's got a bigger amount that I have to cut on there. Well, I scribed it in, didn't I? That's because the end of that wall, that existing wall, kind of puckers in this way a little bit, which means I have to cut off a little bit more of this top 2x6 to fit it in there. Okay, and I can't move that because there's stucco on the outside of that, and then it goes out to form the column and all that. So see, I've got, this is what I have to work with. I've got to make it look right, and so I will. See, I need to do that first before I fill this 2x6 in here, right? Because that could lift this just slightly a little bit. So that's why I'm going to do that one next.